Welcome back to Hot Live Trash from the past. It's time to check out the GOAT, Tom Grassi. If the 2025 NFL Draft was scripted. Ooh, he did a scripted for the draft. Let's go.
Which, by the way, he was a part of.
He was.
Okay, good morning and happy draft week. I have been waiting for this for so long. Now,
how many jokes is he going to make about the Titans having the spotlight constantly taken from them? That is the question.
I know nothing about the draft or the teams of which is what.
You know nothing about the NFL. You're always lost on Tom Grassi, but at least you understand that you should like him. That's all you know.
Now,
I love him,
you're
dude.
all wondering who we're going to draft. It's Cam Ward. Maybe. I don't know. I'm pretty sure everyone in this room knows that you're taking Cam Ward. So many options. Who will I pick? You know what? I was just about to say that it's been a while, but it has not been long enough. Anyway, I do want to talk to you about a certain QB. Cam Ward? I mean, I never even heard of Cam Ward because the first overall pick is still a mystery. No, it's not Cam Ward. It's actually...
Thank you, scriptwriter, for that fine introduction.
Oh, no. Not Don Rogers.
The QB that he is referring to
I know more
is...
about his shit than the actual NFL.
And the actual Aaron
like
Rodgers.
his lore. Oh, yeah.
You know more about the Strouds and yeah, you do. You know plenty about the Tom Grassi lore. So you almost understand the NFL because it is all based
I know
off.
the scriptwriter.
Obviously, yours truly,
I know he got
Don
kidnapped.
Rogers.
Actually, it's...
Now you're probably all wondering, Don, where have you been?
No, nobody cares.
I wasn't asking you.
Flag.
Well, after
Oh,
leaving
the
Jets,
flag
which
ref.
was
God, I
totally
miss
my
him.
decision,
I heard you flew
Missed
all
this.
the way to New Jersey just to get fired.
it could have been a phone call.
I remember when we tried calling you during the offseason.
Anyway, as we get closer to the draft, I wanted to take this opportunity to give every single team that wanted to sign me a chance to speak up. So, who wants me?
Nobody. Nobody wants you anymore, Rodgers. Except maybe the 49ers if they continue to refuse to pay Purdy. Jeez.
Maybe Stan and his family.
The Browns, let me just tell you this, Todd. The Browns have somehow ended up with 5 quarterbacks because that franchise is run by complete idiots all the time.
Beautiful.
And one quarterback that they ended up with was the most legendary draft slide in NFL history, probably, in Shadur Sanders. But I think I've honestly not figured out why anyone projected him high. Because this was a terrible QB draft. There weren't very many good quarterbacks. And so in a draft of not great quarterbacks, he was one of the better ones. He was a top 3 quarterback of this class. But he's not actually that good. And so he had an attitude problem too and did terrible in all of his interviews. So my thought is, how would you think this guy's going to go high? Like if a team's looking for a backup quarterback, because that's kind of what this draft class has, are backup quarterbacks unless you get lucky. They're probably not going to be starters, except for Cam Ward, who obviously the Titans were taking in. The other QBs didn't seem like they might be starters, but they're not that great. Like Shadur had won what? 8
His
games?
name's Shitter?
No. They had like 8 games in college and none against good teams. It's the cream of the crap kind of thing. It was one of the worst QB classes of the decade. So you have a guy that's probably only going to be a backup realistically unless he surprises you. Are you going to draft the guy that is also a PR nightmare on top of that? No, that's not worth it. That is not worth it at all. Like,
Nope.
so he fell to the 5th round and everyone was shocked. I'm like, why? He wasn't that good. Plus, he was a PR nightmare. If he was really good, he would have been taken in the first couple rounds. He was really good compared to the QBs of this class, but they all sucked. But anyway, that's my rant. Rant over.
I get it. You're
was a
probably
good rant.
wondering,
Thank you,
Don,
thank you.
a player
Thank you
of
for
your
clearing it up
caliber,
for me.
of your
Not that
talent,
any of
you
that
would
made
cost
sense,
too
but
much.
as my attempt.
Nay,
makes
nay,
sense,
I said. How does $10 million a year sound? Huh?
Pretty cheap.
Don DeVito, you can't say you wouldn't love me on your team. I'm sorry, Don, but we're paying Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston, so... And how much is that contract? We're paying Russell Wilson $10.5 million. Sounds like I'd be cheaper.
Okay, we really need to move on with the draft.
Steelers.
Oh, no.
What do you say, Oh, Vikings. You want to repeat some history and...
But yeah, that's the only reason he was... Mark, if he wasn't Deion Sanders' son, like, no way he ever gets any sort of spotlight. Because again, he's good, but not, like, he's good enough that you think he might be a starter in the NFL. Certainly, he should be a backup. Like, certainly a solid backup. That's how you would usually see this guy in an NFL prospect. Be like, oh, yeah, he might be a starter, probably be a backup. But because he's Deion Sanders' son, everyone's like, "Oh my God!" No, he was never
So
that
what is
good.
it? What is that called? Not nepo. Is that
It's
nepo
nepotism.
babies?
It's nepo baby. Yeah, that's what it's called.
Man.
But apparently, at least none of the teams fell for it because even though he was projected to be drafted high, nobody drafted him until the 5th round when
Isn't
the Browns
that
were like, "We'll take a
LeBron's
5th
kid.
quarterback."
Isn't LeBron's kid?
Bronny
like
James,
fucking...
yeah, he would never have played in the NBA a single game if it wasn't for LeBron.
I know Stephen A. Smith completely
He got
shit on
so
him,
mad.
and LeBron got real mad.
Wait, no, Stephen A. Smith didn't shit on Bronny. He shit on LeBron for being a bad dad.
Yeah, for being a bad, yeah.
And he wasn't actually wrong. Like, Stephen A. Smith's usually wrong. He was not wrong. He's like, bro, you're setting your son up for everyone to hate him because you're putting him in a position he doesn't deserve to be. And it's fucking fact. Bronny James, D-League NBA, sure. Actually starting in the NBA, I totally agree with Stephen A. Smith because he's like one game just because of the legacy of it. Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that. Yeah, that fucks. Getting to play in the NBA with your son on the court, doing it one time, great. To keep trying to make it happen when he's not that good is insane.
Yeah.
Must be running to the bank.
Okay, this is getting embarrassing. God, I love the offseason.
Well, see, that's
Cole.
the thing, Mark. Yeah, no one wanted to deal with the drama of Shedeur, but it's not even just that simple. Because teams will deal with the drama if they're good enough. I think one way that someone put it is, it was phrased so well. But it's something like, you can only afford to act what you're worth, something along those lines. And Sanders acted like he was a Johnny Manziel type of prospect. And he wasn't. Like, that's why Manziel still got drafted despite all of his red flags. It didn't work out, but he still got drafted high up because of how good he was. Sanders is pretty good, but again, in most drafts, he would probably be seen as someone that might be a starter, but probably be a reliable backup. Well, Mahomes didn't look that great coming out of college either. He looked kind of similar. And that's why you never know, right? He could end up being great because he's in that gray area where someone like Mahomes would be, where it's like, oh, he might be good. He'll definitely at least be a solid backup. And that's why you draft him. Let's draft him to develop him. But you don't draft a kid to develop him when he comes with that whole fucking nightmare of having a terrible attitude. So he's going to be locker room cancer. He's thrown his teammates under the bus constantly. And he apparently tanked all of his interviews. That's like, why would you take any risk on a kid like that when he's not obvious superstar talent? Like his fall in the draft was, like, to me, super not surprising, but everyone else was.
Where are the Colts? I know Pat McAfee, and I know you need a quarterback.
They signed Daniel Jones for $14 million.
Which
They're
was
paying
crazy.
Daniel Jones 14. You know what?
I don't even
I get
understand
it.
that.
You're probably just all intimidated. I get it. It's a big deal. I'm here. So I'll just leave my phone on, and whenever you want to sign me, you just give me a call, okay?
Great, now that that's out of the way, let's talk about the actual QB that I was referring to. Shedeur Sanders.
There it is.
You know who costs less than a rookie contract?
Aaron Rodgers.
Now, I know that Sanders has been mocked to a lot of your teams. I mean, hey, maybe even the first overall pick, huh? No. But you said it was a mystery, so it's Cam Ward. Okay. Well, the NFL would like him to be drafted relatively quickly, so...
Nope.
Cleveland. Trading with the Jaguars. Okay. Giants? Abdul Qadir. Oh my God, I didn't mess it up.
Sanders is on the level of Geno Smith, Fitzpatrick, and with the upside being Kirk Cousins. I don't think I wouldn't make any of those comparisons. I think Sanders is a guy who is a lot less known. From a talent perspective, he's got upside in his ability to read down the field, but he holds the ball too long, which makes him sack prone, but you can coach that out. I don't think he has much of an arm from what I've seen. And so a lot of his game was just very safe, but he was really good at reading safe. So he looks like a good game manager. I would say people that I would compare him to is kind of like an Alex Smith style of play, but not quite as quick with it as Alex Smith. And those guys can be great. But the problem is he never played on a winning team. He never played well against good squads. And yeah, he didn't have a great team around him. That is true, but he talked about it in a way that you wouldn't want him to. So I don't know how much he could lead a locker room. He's just really unknown. There's not a lot we know about him because he didn't really have much of a showing to go off of. He didn't have championship games or a really good team around him to see what he can do. So for me, he's a complete there's potential there, but who knows?
He's a liability.
Well, he's not a liability on its own. He becomes a liability when you put the attitude of him acting like a superstar when it's who knows what the fuck he is.
Fighting, you idiots.
I'm just surprised that the team that ended up taking him was the Browns, who already have so many QBs. Apparently, they wanted QB drama in their offseason. They've got 5 quarterbacks to fight for a starting position now. But none of them would want to because their team sucks.
Fine, but you're going to draft a QB, right?
Sure.
Okay. Excuse me, scriptwriter? I think I heard the Saints say that they wanted to draft Shedeur Sanders. Oh, well, perfect. I'll have the Saints take Shedeur Sanders at 9. I also heard they wanted to trade up and draft a punter in the first round.
So that's based on Atlanta Falcons defensive coordinator's son prank called Shedeur Sanders to make it seem like he was getting drafted.
TikTok.
Yeah. What a dick.
I've seen that.
I get it. Sanders
that was super fucked up.
Yeah, no, Sanders acted like an asshole through this process,
that was actually yo.
But that's just not cool,
move,
man.
Dude.
Sanders is just a kid too, he made mistakes, but prank calling someone about an NFL draft is some bitch boy shit.
Yep, I'd have to be damn, dude, I'm gonna have to fucking kill you now because that's crazy.
That is bitch made shit for sure.
That is a butt whooping.
The Saints didn't say they were drafting him, did they? They did not. I'm so sorry. Okay, listen, somebody has to draft Sanders early. Otherwise, it's the only thing the media will talk about.
And don't forget, I am still available for $5 million.
Damn, Rodgers.
$5 million? I'm telling you, for a low offer of $5 million, you get a Super Bowl winning quarterback, a guy who knows how to keep his composure under pressure, never gets too angry or...
You know what? Let's draft a receiver in the first round.
Poor Rodgers.
So why is Aaron Rodgers even hated?
He's not. It's just he's old. So most teams don't want to take a chance.
That's what I thought. I've seen photos and shit of the guy, and he looks
most teams don't want to pick up a veteran contract. And the kind of play that Rodgers does, there's not a whole lot of teams that are built for it. He's still got a can of an arm. If there was a team that ran the type of offense that Rodgers runs, they'd be getting him. There's just really not right now. The 49ers would be a spot that he would fit. And so who knows? Maybe they're planning on not paying Purdy and play with Rodgers for a year or two and try to find someone else. That if Rodgers would ever go back to San Francisco because he's got a grudge. The Steelers and the Vikings would have made sense for Rodgers, but they both went young. They're both trying to start over. So yeah, it's not that people hate Rodgers. There's just not really a spot that makes sense for him for most teams, and he's just super old. But he's one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. It's just there's not an obvious place for him to land. He might still end up playing next year. But what's funny about what's happening here, why Rodgers is getting mad, Rodgers always wanted more help in the offense, and he usually didn't get it when Green Bay would draft. And Green Bay hadn't drafted a receiver since the early 2000s, before Rodgers even was a
So
quarterback.
they're pulling in somebody that he would have wanted.
Yeah, they drafted a receiver in the first round, which they hadn't done in 23 years. And so
It's kind of fucked.
yeah, it's really fucked. Because Jordan Love's not as good as Rodgers or Favre were. What up, Squeak? So Jordan Love needs,
Dead!
the thing is, what sucked for Favre and Rodgers is they were so good that they didn't always get a lot of help because Green Bay was like, we don't need to help you. We'll focus on our defense and stuff. But Jordan Love's not that great, and that's who they got, so they got him a receiver to try to help out. Or Rodgers.
Matthew Golden. Green and golden. Did you know it's actually the first time in 23 years that we've done that? We just want to support Jordan Love as much as possible.
Do you now?
Okay, sorry to interrupt again, but should
Also, Todd, I highly recommend, if you haven't seen, watch Tom Grossi's reaction to Jordan Love being drafted from like 5 years ago. This is when Aaron Rodgers still had 4 years left in his contract and had just almost gone to the Super Bowl, and they drafted a quarterback in the first round instead of a receiver for him or some other help. Grossi was so mad. So was every Packers fan.
I mean, I don't blame them though. Like that's
And Jordan Love
stupid.
has turned out to be okay so far. Like, he's done pretty well, so it hasn't looked like the worst idea the Packers ever had. But the Packers could have had another Super Bowl with Rodgers or two if they drafted someone else, and still you could eventually find your replacement quarterback. So I will never, unless Love turns a corner and becomes a Hall of Fame quarterback, I will always say that was a bad decision by Green Bay, because if they would have given Rodgers more help at that time, they would have won a Super Bowl or two with him, most likely. But instead they got Jordan Love, who's turning out to be kind of okay, maybe top half of the league quarterbacks, but certainly doesn't look like Rodgers or Favre, Garnett.
We trade up and draft Jackson Dot. Etutame?
Okay, this has
Sorry,
gotten out
Rodgers.
of control. Who is going to...
Okay, how about this? I'm going to help you out, scriptwriter. Whoever drafts Shadur Sanders gets me for free.
The Browns.
Oh, no.
Tyler Shook? Seriously?
I don't know. I think he's pretty good. And you all thought my punter idea was crazy. Can someone please draft Shadur? We'll take Jalen Milrow.
You know what? I'm glad you threw it on the 1 yard line.
Dylan Gabriel?
I have never
I
heard
mean,
that
he's
man's
old,
name
but can he
before.
surprise
Ever.
everybody?
Is it
Rodgers could definitely still be a Super Bowl contending quarterback in the right system, for sure.
Exactly.
I mean, yeah. The problem is, I don't know if the right system's in the league right now, because every right system
Damn.
for Rodgers already has good quarterbacks. Jesus, Inga! Out of
I have an ad.
nowhere. You have an ad? She just dropped $100 out of nowhere, just with a sweet message to us. Every time we start recording on this new tiny-ass channel, people make it look like we're filthy rich. Every time. That's insane. Inga, much love. You're here just a
Inga?
bit too late. I was leaking stuff from the new project that is very much not out at all yet, and I don't know when it will be. But welcome.
I
I'm glad
love
to
you.
see you.
And I hope you have the best night of your life.
Best.
I don't even know what to say.
TM me. It's like, send me the song.
a made-up
Send
name?
them to me.
Can I just have one nice
Oh.
offseason?
I'll
Just
send you
one.
one,
Back now.
Inga.
You know what? Let's draft another wide receiver.
F you.
But the link won't be active forever. So whenever
Man.
that's funny. Whenever I send it, you'll have to click it fairly quickly, because I've been rotating these links. They're just little private links on stuff.
You know, a more insecure man might be taking this personally.
For the love of God, can someone please draft him so we can leave? I hate my job. You know what? Fine. We'll draft Shadur Sanders.
That's true, Mark. The Brown.
You will?
It's the 5th round. Good value. We'll take him. Well, okay then. Great.
I guess I'm going to the Cleveland.
QB room is full.
Fine. Steelers.
We're drafting Will Howard. Okay, Steelers are drafting Will Howard, and
The Strouds!
Oh no. No!
Stroud. I'm just so glad he made a whole
I like how they have
fucking
their
song.
intro.
Stroud. I need to see CJ Stroud watch a Tom Grassi video. I need to see that.
Hey, do you need a backup QB?
Graham Mertz. Did you just walk all the way here just to tell me the 6th round QB you were going to draft? Yes. Okay then. Bye, best friend. I wonder if he knows that I'm drafting Cam Ward.
Oh, hold on.
No
This
way,
is
the
it.
SpongeBob.
Go for Don.
Hi, yeah, this is Saints GM Mickey Loomis. We would love to have you on our team. I mean, I think you're going to be really happy here in New Orleans. Okay,
Obviously,
great.
the
Glad we got
NFL
Shedeur Sanders
loves Grassi. They had him do a draft pick, let alone the comments they left after he did.
thing out of the way. Imagine that's all we talked about the entire draft.
He didn't do any jokes about Tennessee not having the spotlight. A good show of restraint. We stuck to the standards. This video's been too long.
I didn't
Goodbye.
understand